Hi, Jeff. How are you doing?
Pretty good, Tamoya. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. So today they announced that the Ohtani was selected to the AllStar Game. Are you surprised at all?
I'm a little bit surprised because, last year he was clearly the best performing player among the designated hitter candidates. So whether it was just popularity or whether it was based purely on performance, he was still the choice. This year, however, he's not the best performing designated hitter. Yordan Alvarez of the Houston Astros is having a much better season if you look strictly offensively. So you could certainly make a case that he should be the starter. But, the All-Star Game is an exhibition game. It's for the fans. It's for the fans to see who they want to see. It's reasonable, certainly, to let the fans pick the player that more of them want to see to start. And then Alvarez will probably finish the game.
Do you think it helped that Ohtani played really well during the last few weeks, especially on the mound?
Well, it certainly didn't hurt. I mean, technically what he does on the mound should not affect the way people vote for him as the DH, but I know that's difficult for anybody to do because when you read about, Shohei Otani is amazing, you're mostly reading those stories when he pitches nowadays. So I think that kind of increases the overall awareness about him having a good season, so it probably does help, even though it maybe shouldn't.
Do you think he will pitch in the game?
Last year in the All-Star Game, they made him the starting pitcher and the DH, which was the best thing for his routine and workload because he could do all of his warm-ups before the game started. Then he could go hit, then he could pitch, which is exactly what he does in a regular game. If he's not the starting pitcher, it's more difficult for him to prepare because, say if they want him to pitch the third inning, he starts the game as the DH, then when is he going to do his whole pitching routine to warm up? So I wouldn't say it's a certainty that he's going to pitch in the game, but it will be interesting to see.
According to Fangraphs, the Angels have about 10% chances of making the playoffs. Does that sound right to you?
That actually seems a little high to me. Let's see, in the first half of the season, 81 games, they won 37 games. So in order for them to make the playoffs, they probably have to win at least 51, 52 in the second half. That's a pretty big jump. That's like another, 40% better of wins. That's hard to imagine them doing. But, it would also have been hard to imagine them being as bad in the second quarter of the season as they were, considering how good they were in the first quarter of the season. So who knows? I wouldn't say they have no chance, but 10% seems like a little optimistic.
If the Angels don't make the playoffs this year, how do you think that will affect the direction of where the team's going?
That is a really good question. Obviously, they just have an interim manager, Phil Nevin, right now. So they certainly don't have to keep him. They could, look for a new manager. And Perry Manassian, the general manager, has completed 2 years of his 3-year contract. So there's no guarantee that they would keep him for the third year. And if they do make changes at either or both of those roles, that's a big shift, and it indicates you kind of have to start over a lot of things. So it's going to be difficult either way, if they end up with another bad season, but they have to figure it out because they can't just rebuild and tear things down and start over.
Do you think that will increase the chances of Ohtani being traded to another team next season or before the next season starts?
I don't think Ohtani is getting traded at all, ever. I think the only way he would get traded by the Angels is if we get to July of 2023 and the team is out of it. And he's already said he's not going to resign. I don't know that either of those things are going to happen. I think that the Angels' first choice is to keep him and re-sign him to a long-term deal. And I think that they'll probably spend a lot of time in this winter between the 22 and 23 seasons trying to do that. And if they can't do that, they'll keep trying. And even if he tells them after the 2022 season, I'm absolutely not re-signing, which I don't think he would do, by the way. I think he would just say, I don't want this contract. Let's keep talking. But even if they knew with 100% certainty that he was not going to come back after the 23 season, I think they would still keep him because they want to try to be good in the 23 season. And he certainly makes them better. So I just think that all the scenarios where he's traded just don't make any sense to me.
Great point. But how will the Angels finance having Mike Trout and Anthony Rendon's contract and Raiso Iglesias, and then Shohei Otani, who might require $50 million to sign him every year. How is Angels going to pay for that?
Well, first of all, I don't think it's going to be $50 million because the thing with Ohtani is there's a lot of risk involved with him because he's a pitcher and a hitter. So, when you sign a player like Mike Trout or Mookie Betts, you pretty much know what they are and you have a track record for the way their career is going to go, and you can pay them based on that. With Ohtani, there's no track record, so you have no idea how his career is going to go. So I don't think they're going to be guaranteeing him, any team would be guaranteeing him that amount of money, that he's going to be this two-way player, for the whole length of a contract. So I think any contract with him is going to have, various clauses in it that, say if he pitches and hits, then he gets paid this. If he only pitches, he gets paid this. If he only hits, he gets paid this. Also, the Angels just had for 2 seasons, Anthony Rendon, Mike Trout, and Albert Pujols making a lot of money, and Justin Upton. So they've already done it. So clearly they've got lots of money. It's not a problem of not being able to afford him. And I think in Ohtani's case, he probably pays for himself a lot more than certainly any other player does because of, the business benefits to having him, the ticket sales and marketing and all that kind of stuff. I don't think the Angels not having enough money is going to be a factor in whether they sign Ohtani or not.
That's very reassuring for a lot of Ohtani fans, or Angels fans, I guess. Do you think Art Moreno's willing to pay the luxury tax, though? It's a possibility, right? If they, decide to keep Ohtani and then make the team even better.
Well, the luxury tax went up significantly in this new collective bargaining agreement. So the Angels have a pretty fair amount of room under it right now. And they're going to have some other players coming off. For them to be good, mostly what they need is a lot of good, cheap players. And that's the way every team that's good gets themselves good. So that's going to be true whether they have Ohtani or not. So I think that they certainly can afford to have Ohtani and still have some room under the luxury tax. And even if they do go over the luxury tax a little bit, you only pay for the amount you're over. So I think that that's not really, shouldn't be a deal breaker for them. And, I don't think that should be a problem.
So where do you think these rumors of the Angels may not have enough money to pay for Ohtani and, he might get traded? Where do you think these rumors are coming from?
A lot of people just aren't really looking at it carefully, and they just think, well, the Angels are bad right now and Ohtani's going to make a lot of money, so they should trade him. And they really don't take the analysis beyond that. But, if you think about it, they're not going to be better after they trade him, because you're not going to get back so many players that are going to make you better. And all the money that you're not spending in Ohtani, if you then say, oh, we're going to go spend it on somebody else, you're just doing the same thing. You're just investing a lot of money in other players that may or may not make you better. So it's not certainly a guarantee to make you better if you trade Ohtani. And if it's not a guarantee, there's no reason to get rid of the business bonanza that Shohei Otani is. So let's say, for example, if the Angels could say, okay, if we have Ohtani, there's a 30% chance we're going to win. And if we don't have Ohtani, there's a 30% chance we're going to win. Well, one player makes you a lot more money. So which 30% are you going to stick with? So that's I think what they're looking at.
At this point, what do you think are the chances that Ohtani will stay with the Angels after 2023 season?
I don't know. I think it probably depends on a lot of the way the rest of this season goes. And, when they start to talk to them about a contract over the winter, it's going to be how much are they willing to give him and how much are they willing to assure him that they'll still have enough other good players around him. I think that's what it's going to come down to. And I don't know what the answers to any of those are going to be. But if you forced me to pick, I would say the Angels will sign him to an extension, because that's what they did, with Mike Trout. They spent a ton of money on Mike Trout. And I know they really like having Ohtani, and Ohtani seems to like being around the Angels. And although the Angels certainly can't guarantee him that they'll win, other teams can't either. So I think that, him being someplace comfortable, I think is something that he enjoys. And I certainly think the Angels are going to try to win.
Hey, viewers, thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions for Jeff, please leave in the comment section below. Also, if you like the video, please click the like button and subscribe to our channel. We also have an announcement. Jeff's book, Showtime, the inside story of Shohei Otani and the greatest baseball season ever played, will be available in the United States on July 19th, and it is available in Japan right now. ここで日本の皆さんにお知らせがあります。ジェフの書いた、Showtime、大谷翔平メジャー120年の歴史を変えた男が4月12日に発売されまして、今、絶賛、発売中です。Amazon のランキングでもなんとすべての本の中で3位にランクイン、しているほど、好調な売れ行きでして、今 Amazon だとですね、在庫がない状況なので、ぜひ近くの、本屋さんに立ち寄ってお買い求めいただければと思います。アメリカの記者が、見た大谷翔平という視点で非常に面白い内容になってますので、ぜひご覧ください。さらにですね、僕の書いたルポ大谷翔平、日本メディアが知らないリアル二刀流の真実、も絶賛発売中です。このチャンネルで話しているようなアメリカが大谷翔平をどう見ているのか、アメリカ流の野球の見方など、すべて書き尽くしましたので、ぜひこちらの方もですね、まだお買い求めになってない方はですね、手に取っていただければと思います。それではまた次回の動画でお会いしましょう。